Hello, today we are going to see the spectrogram, the analysis and its details. The earlier lecture we have seen the various types and length of mass irregularity, how mass irregularity is classified. Today we are going to see how mass irregularity it can be identified. Only the periodic kind of irregularity can be really fixed, and to detect or identify it is a very difficult thing. Simply by U percentage or CV percentage, we saw in the earlier lecture that we cannot identify periodic faults, and that is why we will have to take the help of a spectrogram. And so therefore the study of the spectrogram, the analysis becomes important. So let us just see the background of how this spectrogram has come about. The numerical values such as U or CV are not influenced by periodic variations. That means CV or U percentage is really not able to give you an indication that any periodic variation exists. Therefore, a periodic variation will never result in a high U percentage. Therefore, a yarn may not exhibit a high U percentage, and the value U percentage that you get might be acceptable to you. But such a yarn will have, which has a periodic irregularity in spite of its low U percentage, will have certain serious defects which will show up as barriness, etc. in the fabric. The fabric will therefore exhibit patterns of thick and thin places, especially when it is used as a weft. So spectrogram is one of the methods of a graphical representation of the periodic mass variation in a sliver, where the x-axis will represent the wavelength and the y-axis will represent the amplitude or the intensity of the fault. So spectrogram basics, let us just try and understand. So if this is a spectrogram, which is this is the kind of diagram that you or the graph that you will receive on a Worcester-Revinus tester. You can get it from an Worcester-Revinus tester. And what you see here is on the x-axis, you'll see the frequency or the wavelength, and on the y-axis you'll see the amplitude of the fault that can be identified. So now as soon as you see a sort of a peak in this particular spectrogram, you know that it is a periodic fault. In a spectrogram, the x-axis represents wavelength and the y-axis the intensity. Often a logarithmic scale is given for the x-axis to cover the maximum range of wavelengths. In other words, a spectrogram shows how many times a mass variation repeats itself in a tested length. So if you take a, say, X amount of tested length of material that you have tested, and so it will show you how many times a particular variation or a fault it keeps on appearing, and so that is shown on this spectrogram, and how to read it we'll see shortly. Now this is a diagram or a graph which you would expect for a normal fault-free yarn. The spectrogram of a fault-free yarn would look something like this. There would be it would be a gentle curve where you won't see any peaks or any kind of formation here the way you are seeing in this particular graph. If this was for a normal fault-free yarn, then it would be a smooth curve which without this particular fault that you are seeing here. It consists of a natural or variable, this is of a fault-free yarn which consists of natural or variable length fibers. It will be shown like this, or it will be looking like this without any peaks. In this spectrogram, the maximum amplitude lies at a wavelength of 2.82 into mean fiber length. So whatever mean fiber fiber you are using, the mean fiber length of it would multiply by 2.82. Somewhere approximately at that place, that wavelength, you will find that there is a peak. And this peak is a normal peak. It's a gentle curve. As you can see, there is no, there are no ups and downs here in this particular graph. So now when you come across a particular graph like this, how to read it or how to understand this. Now, like before only, you can see one sort of fault which is shown here, and it's at a periodicity of 7.7 centimeters. You can read this from from the x-axis over here. You can see it is somewhere in between 5 and 10, and it is around 7.7 centimeters. So what does this exactly mean? It means that there, in the yarn that we have just tested, in that there will be a variation or a periodicity of 7.7 centimeters. If this is the yarn, it will appear like this, um, at 7.7 centimeters all throughout the yarn length. In an Wooster evenness tester, the yarn is passed. Now, this is some background about the Wooster evenness tester, how it is able to test. The yarn is passed between condenser plates. The voltage across the condenser plates changes with the mass of the material present between the plates. The presence of the yarn causes the voltage to fluctuate with the changes in the weight per unit length of the yarn passing between the plates. The measure of variability is expressed in U percentage. So basically, whatever material is passing in between the condenser plate, it leads to change in the voltage, and the voltage change is recorded as a change in the weight per unit length of the yarn, and it will be expressed as a U percentage. So pieces of 8 mm length of yarn are considered in a normal test. In a normal test, the cut length that you consider is 8 mm, and then you find out the percentage mean deviation, which is nothing but U percentage. Wavelength range covered by a evenness tester depends on the test speed and the evaluation time. If the yarn is run for 2.5 minutes at a speed of 25 meters per minute, then the total length that you have tested would be 62.5 meters. The spectrogram consists, now as you can see in the diagram here in the graph, there are both portions shaded as well as non-shaded areas over here. If a periodic fault passes through the measuring head for a minimum of 25 times, then it is considered as a significant fault, which is displayed by the shaded area. So if all the shaded area, what it means is that there are faults which have, or a particular variation which has passed through the Wooster evenness tester more than 25 times, and it is shown by the shaded area. Now you can see some non-shaded area also over here. When a fault repeats for about 6 to 25, which is less than 25 times, between 6 and 25 times, then within the test material, then it is considered as unessential and will be displayed by the non-shaded area. So these are not really important because it is appearing very few times, which is less than 25 times. So it will be indicated by this non-shaded area and can be really ignored. Faults which occur less than 6 times will not even appear in the spectrogram, so they are not very serious. So what we need to do is we need to focus ourselves on this particular area, shaded area, and if we see any kind of periodicity over here, then we should go and fix that. So periodic faults covered by a spectrogram. Mainly two types of periodic faults are shown in the spectrogram, that is hill type and chimney type. So hill type would be somewhere will show distortion somewhere here like this, and the chimney type will be like you know vertical uh, variations which are shown in the form of a sort of a chimney. So both these faults are there. So hill type faults, let us understand. A hill type fault where several adjacent peaks are noticed is normally due to a drafting wave. Now if you see a deviation from the normal over here, that deviation would be due to the drafting wave, and it will not be just uh, one column over here. It will be a set of adjacent peaks, a lot of them, and they will try to form a curve like this, and you'll notice this, and this is happening because of the drafting wave. And the factors really that cause this drafting wave would be that we have seen in the earlier lectures. It would be due to the improper draft zone settings, improper top roller pressure, or too many short fibers in the material. There are various reasons for this drafting wave to be appearing in your material. So then we come to the chimney type faults. A chimney type fault consists of one or more peaks or chimneys, as we can see over here. It could be one or more of them, depending on how many mechanical faults are there which are inserting this kind of faults. So the fault that is going to be seen as a chimney would be due to a mechanical fault, and this would be a result of eccentric roller or improper meshing, missing gear teeth, missing teeth in a timing belt, damaged bearings, etc. So all mechanical faults would lead to a chimney type of peak over here in your spectrogram. A chimney or a hill at any specific wavelength indicates the presence of a strong periodic variation. Any one of this would show that there is a periodic variation or periodic fault in the material. So if the height of the peak, normally the height of the peak is seen to see how serious a particular fault or a peak is. So in the spectrogram, if you see that the wavelength equals or oversteps by 50% of the height of the basic spectrum, then it is considered as to be a serious fault. As you can see over here, b by 2, b would be the normal height of the spectrum, which is a basic spectrum, which you see over here. And if this b by 2, if this p value, the peak above the normal spectrum, is more than b by 2, then it is considered to be a quite a serious fault and must be fixed. So hill and chimney fault, how do you detect them? So in a spectrogram, you will see the hill fault, which would look like this. This was the normal spectrum, but it has deviated from the normal spectrum, as shown here. The drafting wave hill is expected at a wavelength of 4 into average fiber length. Whatever your average fiber length is there, multiply by 4. Around that wavelength, you will find a peak due to the drafting wave. So for example, if the average fiber length was around 22 to 25 mm, then the drafting wave would be expected around 8 to 10 centimeters, as can be seen over here. What about a chimney kind of fault or a deviation that appears in your spectrogram? Wavelength of a periodic variation due to a faulty roller will show a peak at, this peak has will show up is come due to some kind of roller fault. And as you can see, it has come at a wavelength which is equal to pi into roller diameter into the draft from the faulty part of the part to the point where the sliver leaves the machine. For example, in the earlier lecture we have discussed that whatever draft is there from the point where the fault actually originated to the point where you are testing the material, the entire draft that is applied in that region needs to be considered, because the faulty roller, once it delivers the faulty material, it will be drafted by the amount of draft that is applied there, and the output material will show a wavelength which is equal to pi into roller diameter into the draft. So the wavelength is shown at accordingly in your spectrogram. So spectrogram of an output at the draw frame, speed frame and rain frame. Let us see compare these three these processes where you will see this the same fault going through in three different processes. So we already know that by dividing the wavelength from the above formula that we just saw, pi into roller diameter into the draft that is applied, we can easily reshuffle that formula, and we see that by dividing the wavelength of an irregularity in the yarn, this wavelength you can get from the spectrogram, and when you divide that by the draft that you have applied from the point of origin to the point of delivery, once you do that, you'll get a number which will indicate to the diameter and the diameter of the roller from which the fault has actually originated. So you can actually detect the roller which is creating this fault. So with this background in mind, let us just look at this particular graph here, which shows a spectrogram for draw frame, spectrogram for roving, as well as spectrogram for yarn. These are three spectrograms which are shown for the same faulty material which has passed, which has probably had its origin in the somewhere in the drafting system of a draw frame over here, and which comes out as a delivery sliver from the draw frame, which is fed to the speed frame, and this same fault has been drafted by the speed frame, and that's why you will see this same peak has appeared here at a different wavelength which is higher than that shown in the draw frame. Same thing will happen uh, with ring frame spectrogram also for the yarn. This same fault will again be drafted by the ring frame drafting system, and it will be elongated, and that fault will show itself on a spectrogram of yarn at a wavelength which is higher than that for a speed frame and draw frame. So the same material has been processed through this entire line, and what you see is the fault changes its position from a shorter wavelength to a longer wavelength over here, as you can see. So in the graphs, we see the peak in the draw frame sliver at around 12 centimeters. The peak is seen around 12. If the same faulty material gets further processed through speed frame, we see that the fault has been drafted and we see the peak around 1.2 meters. So the fault length has increased. And the same fault after being drafted by the ring frame drafting system shows a peak at around 35 meters. So you will see another peak, that is same fault which has been drafted, and you will see a peak at 35 meters for a yarn spectrogram. So now let us go one step further and imagine what would happen if we were to see a peak in the yarn spectrogram at around 12. Suppose instead of this peak, I was to see a peak somewhere at this area only over here, but it would be for a yarn. When I test a yarn, I get a peak over here. So what do I understand from that? Then in that case, we would know that the fault might have just originated. I mean, it has just originated in the drafting system of the ring frame itself, because it has not got a chance to get drafted so many times and appear in this region. So it means that the fault has just originated in the ring frame. Therefore, detecting a mechanical fault helps in identifying the faulty roller easily through the analysis of the spectrogram of the output material at any stage. So the moment I see that if there is a peak over here in this particular yarn, then I will go and fix the place. Now here, when I see a peak, I know that this fault has originated somewhere in the earlier processes. It has not come from the same machine. If I see a peak at a smaller wavelength, then I know that it has originated from the drafting system of the same process for which the testing has been done. So now let us look at another scenario where if this fault would have been detected in the delivery sliver at draw frame, it could have been fixed. Now for example, instead of going the same material going through speed frame and ring frame and then getting a faulty yarn which would lead to a faulty fabric or would affect the appearance of the fabric at the end, suppose I were to identify this particular fault at this stage itself. I would have checked draw frame sliver and I got the spectrogram, and then I fix the roller, the faulty roller at this stage itself. So I wouldn't have gone through these two stages and got a faulty yarn. So detecting the fault at an earlier stage helps in fixing the fault and getting a fault-free, good quality yarn at the end. So if this fault would have been detected in a delivery sliver at draw frame, it could have been fixed and the fault would not appear in the yarn spectrogram. This would have been a smoother curve and the quality would be good. So to summarize this entire understanding of spectrogram, periodic irregularity and quasi-periodic irregularity to a certain extent can, both of them, this to a certain extent and periodic irregularity completely can be corrected once you detect it. Spectrogram is an effective tool for the detection of periodic and quasi-periodic faults through the analysis of hill and chimney in the spectrogram. If the fault were to originate at a previous process, then an auto-leveler shall prove effective in the reduction of the intensity of these irregularities. So if you detect, say in card, that card sliver has got some fault in it, then auto-leveler is the device which helps in correcting that particular fault in draw frame. So an auto leveler becomes very important to correct these faults if they are detected in the earlier process. So with this summary, we end this lecture. Thank you.